You heard what Secretary Blinken said about the war, and particularly those weapons. I know you want to get over there. Your reaction?
Well, number one, there are 30 United States senators in Munich, along with a big House delegation. Senator McConnell and Schumer both came. Virtually unanimous belief that we should be training Ukrainian pilots on the F-16 today so they can get the jets as soon as possible. The British are training Ukrainian pilots. I believe a decision will be imminent here when we get back to Washington that the administration will start training Ukrainian pilots on the F-16. They need the weapon system. And let me just stress this. How can you call this war by Russia a crime against humanity? And that's what the vice president did in Munich. Now, we're talking about Germany. We're talking about the vice president of the United States declaring that Russia is involved in crimes against humanity in Germany, of all places, you know, echoes of World War II. How can you say that? And she is correct. And not give the victim of the crime against humanity the defensive weapons they need to stop the crime. So we need to do two things quickly. Make Russia a state sponsor of terrorism under U.S. law, which would make it harder for China to give weapons to Russia. And we need to start training Ukrainian pilots on the F-16 now.
I know one of the things the allies have worried about is that it could provoke Russia. If you have longer-range missiles,
right.
If you have F-16s, if you could provoke them anymore.
Right. I don't know. You know, a year ago, everybody here was in denial. I was preaching as loud as I could. Putin really means it. Here's the good news. I've never seen NATO so united. The Germans have stepped up to the plate. There's bipartisan support for winning this war in Ukraine, for giving the Ukrainians the weapons they need to defend themselves. I'm not worried about provoking Putin. I want to beat him. And how do you beat him? You beat him by giving the Ukrainians the military capability to drive the Russians out of Ukraine. You label Putin's Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism. You create international tribunals so we actually can try Putin and his cronies in the international court like we did after World War II. Don't worry about provoking Putin. Worry about beating him. And I've never been more optimistic about winning this war in Ukraine than I am right now. I see solidarity across the aisle in America and across the seas.